this is Ginger from my sister Scrapper. Today I'm going to share with you how I created my Emoji Love mini album, and I would show you that mini album, but it's already gone. So anyway, that's okay. It'll be a nice surprise if you don't remember what it looks like, but I will link the original tutorial and original project in the description box of this video. So for this project, you will need, I will share with you what I used. I used the 6x8 Emoji Love paper pad. I have some medium weight chipboard, and you're going to need 7 sheets of 8.5 by 11 cardstock, 5 sheets of 12 by 12 cardstock, and 1 8.5 by 11 chipboard. Okay, so I've already done some pre-cutting just to make it a little bit easier, so you can pause the video if you want to write down the measurements and everything. So I am going to, for this tutorial, I'm going to use the Simple Stories Faith collection. Again, I'm using the 6x8 paper pad. I did use 1 sheet of 12 by 12, 4 by 6 vertical cut aparts. And I'm going to use these really cute little clips. And I'm going to use the chipboard stickers. And for the base of my mini album, my paper is going to be this really pretty craft right here, and then I'm going to use some white cardstock also just for journaling spots and to represent the photos. So here we go. So the chipboard is medium weight. You're going to need 2 pieces that are 5 by 7, a front and a back for your covers, and then your spine is going to be 2 1/4 by 7, and then we are going to use, you're going to need your we're going to do 5 pages. So you're going to need 5 sheets of 12 by 12 cardstock that you have cut down to 12 by 9. And we're going to score those 5 first. I'm going to do things a little bit different. These are going to be the actual inserts that go in the pages. We're going to score it at 4 inches. And we're going to score at 8 inches. And we're going to rotate it to the 9-inch side and score at 6 inches. So that should leave us with 3 panels here and 3 panels here. Okay, so go ahead and do that to all 5 pieces of cardstock. Okay, so once we got that scored, we're going to set our scoreboard aside, and we're going to go ahead and take our bone folder and our scissors, or you can use your paper trimmer, because what we want to do is on our inserts, we have the 3 smaller rectangles at the top and the 3 larger rectangles at the bottom. We want to go ahead and take our scissors and remove this upper rectangle here and the upper rectangle here. And again, I'm going to use my scissors, but you can use your paper trimmer if you want. So it should look like this. We have these 3 at the top, and we've removed these 2 and left the center one and left these 3 at the bottom. So go ahead and do that to all 5 of your pages, and then the way you want to fold it is you're going to fold 1 panel in, and you might need to, you know, work it a little bit with your bone folder just because it's going to fold on itself, whichever way is going to fold the neatest, and then fold the other side in, and then you're going to fold the top down. Okay. Okay, so that's going to be our insert. It's going to flip up like this. So we're going to have an element here. We're going to have a journaling spot here. We'll have another element here and here, here, and here. And then right here will be for our photo. And then we'll also decorate the back. So go ahead and do that to all 5 of your inserts. Okay, so we have all 5 of our little inserts all finished here. So what you want to do is those pieces that you removed, go ahead and save those. Those are 3x4, and we can make photo mats to go inside our front inside pocket. So you can recycle those. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make the actual pages, and they're pretty simple. What you're going to need is, again, you're going to need your scoreboard here. And you're going to need 5 pieces of paper or cardstock, whatever color you're using. Again, I'm using the craft. They're going to measure 3 1/4 by 7 1/4, and you're going to need 5 of those. And then you're going to need 5 more that measure 3 1/4 by 6 1/4. So these are really simple. We're just going to make some short little pockets. So what you're going to do is you're going to put it in your scoreboard with the 7 1/4 inches going across the top. And you're going to score at 1/2 inch on both ends. So we're going to score at 1/2 inch, flip it around, and score at 1/2 inch. And we're going to do that to all 5 pieces. So once we have those scored, put our scoreboard away, and we're going to go ahead and add our score tape to our little tabs here and make our pages. So I'm going to add score tape to this end and score tape to this one. Make sure you burnish your tape. Fold on your score lines. Now if you want to fold on your score lines first and then flip it over and add your tape, it's fine either way. And then what I want you to do is take your scissors and go ahead and trim your corners. That way nothing sticks out. And we make our page. So now we're going to take the piece that measures 3 1/4 by 6 1/4, and we're going to attach it to this right here. So we're going to go ahead and remove the tape backing. And we're going to add one of them here. Fold it over and add the other one. So there you go. That's our little page. I know, pretty cute, huh? What it's going to do, it's going to sit on our hinge, and then we'll take our inserts, and they're going to sit right in here like this. I promise they fit. Just like this. Okay? So go ahead and make 5 pages. Okay, so there we have our 5 pages all ready to go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we'll set those aside with our inserts. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to wrap our chipboard. So you're going to need your 1/4 inch score tape. You can use wet glue if you want. Again, adhesive is a personal choice, but I do like to use my score tape. To wrap your chipboard, since our pieces measure 5 by 7, we're going to use a couple of pieces of paper here, and I'm going to make it, it's going to be 9 inches by 12 on one, and then the other one is going to be 9 inches by 6 inches, because putting those two together will be enough to wrap our entire piece. Okay, so what you're going to do, take your 1/4 inch score tape with the 12 inches across here and the 9 going down. We're going to add a piece of tape to one 9-inch edge right here. And we're going to attach the other piece, the 6 by 9, right here. Again, with the 9 inches, we're just going to overlap it by 1/4 inch. Stick it down. Okay, just like this. Then we're going to take our chipboard and we're going to lay one down here, one here, and one here. We'll have a little bit of excess, but we can trim that off. So I like to wrap my chipboard with 1 inch. Some people like to do less. This is just how I like to do mine, so that's why I made mine 9 inches. So I have an inch overlap here and an inch over at the bottom. And then I want to do an inch on the side. So in order to get me a straight line, to make sure my chipboard is straight, I use my scoreboard for that. Even though the piece is really long, it's still, you can still do it. So you're going to put it in here with the long side here and the short 9 inches going down. You're going to score it 1 inch. Okay. Then we're going to flip it around. So the long piece is going all the way, and it does go off your scoreboard, but that's okay. You're going to score another 1 inch and just stop right before you get to the end. Slide your paper up and continue your score line. Now we've overlapped it, so it's a little thick right here, so be really careful. And just go ahead and finish scoring all the way down. Okay, and that's just, the score line is just simply a guide so we can keep our chipboard straight. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put our chipboard pieces down, and if you know how to wrap chipboard, go ahead. If you've never done it, this is just a quick little reminder if you're a beginner of how this is just how I like to do it. I like to put my score tape around the perimeter of my chipboard and then add some adhesive in the center. And I'm going to use the really wide score tape for that. So again, we're going to put it on one side here. And here. Okay, so just like this, and then I'm going to add a piece in the center. And then do that to all 3 pieces. Okay, now we're ready to go ahead and attach our chipboard to our cardstock. I'm just going to go ahead and fold this a little bit just so hopefully you can see. Again, this is my score line, and it's just so I can keep my chipboard straight. We're going to start out with our front cover. Remove the tape backing. And go ahead and, using your score lines as a guide, just line the corner of the chipboard up with the corner of your score lines and stick it down. Okay, the next piece is going to be your spine, and you do need to leave a space in between. A good rule of thumb is you can, if you have the Tim Holtz ruler, you can use your Tim Holtz ruler and set it in there like this and then attach it like this. That's the space, or you can just eyeball it like I do. Either way works, but if you're new to doing this, this is a good rule of thumb right here. Again, I'm using that score line to line up my chipboard so it's straight, and there we go. And then we're going to add the last piece. Okay, again, we're going to leave a space. And stick it down. Okay, so now what we need to do is we want to trim this XX off so we have an inch so it looks exactly like this end. So go ahead and flip it over and burnish your tape so it sticks to the cardstock. And then you can take your ruler and a pencil, which is what I do. Measure 1 inch from the edge of your chipboard. Draw a pencil line. Take your scissors and trim it off. Okay, so now what we want to do is we've got a score line here and a score line here. I like to run my bone folder just along the other two edges that don't have a score line, just to make the cardstock easier to bend over. And then I stand it up on the table and kind of help it along. Now, since I have a seam here, I want this to be my back cover, okay? Not that it's going to show because we're going to put design paper on it anyway. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and fold these over and stick it down. So I like to go ahead and use score tape for that as well. And we're going to run a piece along the top and the sides. And I don't go all the way to the edge because we are going to cut the corners out. So, but if you do, it's no big deal. You can cut your corners first and then add your score tape. I like to add my score tape first so I get edge to edge coverage. Then I like to take my thinner score tape and go along the edge of my chipboard, and I just stop at the edge, push the score tape into the space, and keep going. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to trim our corners. Now you can do two ways. You can just eyeball it, make sure you leave about 1/8 of an inch from the corner, leave 1/8 of an inch cardstock left. Or if you want, you can use your ruler, and there's 1/8 of an inch mark on the Tim Holtz ruler. It's a little dotted lines, and you can just draw a line like this and then trim off your corners that way. I'm just going to eyeball it because that's how I roll. So again, we're going to do this to all 4 corners. It's better to leave too much than not enough. You can always cut more off, but you can't add it back on. But you want to get pretty close to that 1/8 of an inch because the less bulk you have in there, the better your corners look. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and wrap our chipboard. I like to wrap the long sides first. So we'll pull the tape backing off. And then fold it over. And stick it down. Just like that. Okay. Now we're going to flip around. We're going to do the other side. Okay, so we have both long edges and we have our corners here. So what I like to do is I just like to take my fingernail and fold those corners in like that. Take the tape backing off and fold it over. Repeat on the other side. Okay, so there's our cover. Again, this is my seam here. I want this to be my back. So I like to take my bone folder and just gently press the cardstock into the space and fold it over. And there's our book cover, and it measures 5 by 7. Okay, now what we need to do is we need to add our hinge. So to create my hinge, I do like to make my hinges 1/4 of an inch smaller than the pages, and our pages are 6 1/4, so we're going to make our hinge piece 6 inches, and this is 6 by 11. And I leave a 3/8 inch gusset. Actually, I have this 6 by 10.5, and I'll explain why. So I just did my trimming before instead of afterwards, but you want to leave it 11 and make it 6 by 11, you're good to go. We're going to start at 2 inches, and then 2.5, and then 3. So those 2 1/2 inch spaces are going to make one hinge, and then we're going to move over to 3/8 of an inch, 1, 2, 3, and score. And then we're going to move over 4 inches because we need another 1/2 inch. So there's our first hinge, that's our gusset. Now we need to make 2 more 1/2 inch spaces for a hinge. And then another 3/8. So just continue in that manner till you get 5 hinges. Your last score mark should be at 8.5. Okay, that should leave you 2 inches here and 2 inches here. Okay, so now what I like to do is flip it over, and I'm going to fold on the score lines that are going to make my hinge. So I'm going to skip the first one, fold, skip the next 2, and fold. It's just so I know what channels to put my tape in, because sometimes the score lines are a little hard to see. Okay. Now we're going to add our score tape. So the way I like to do it is I skip the first channel and I add a piece of tape in the 1/2 inch channel here, and I am using 3/8. Skip the next 2 channels and add tape again. Skip the next 2 and add it again. And skip the next 2, add it again. Skip the next 2, and you should add score tape in the last 1/2 inch channel. Okay. Furniture tape. Now, since we've already folded, we know which ones are going to match up. So take the backing off the first one, fold it over, burnish it, and then I like to flip it up, stand it up, and bend my hinge back and forth. There's our first hinge. Again, we've already pre-folded, so we know which one goes next. And again, stand it up and fold my hinge back and forth. Okay, there's our second one. Now the next space again is our channel. We're going to take the backing off. We've already pre-folded it, so we know which one matches up. Okay, and there's our 5 hinge binding system. Okay, so now I like to add my adhesive to my hinges before I attach it to my book, and I do like to fold my hinges back and forth. The cardstock that I'm using for my hinges is my new favorite. I'm kind of spoiled now. It's Artisan Cardstock, and I get it at Country Craft Creations, and I'll put a link to her website down below. The craft is one of my favorites. I love the black. I love the natural. They have several colors, but those are the 3 that I have a lot of because I use it for all my books now because it will not crack and it's really durable. And it's fabulous. Okay, so there's our hinge. We're going to use, I'm going to put my score tape here on my hinges already. When I have a 1/2 inch hinge, I do like to use 1/4 inch score tape, because when I put my pages on, I don't put my pages all the way down. I leave a little space. That way they turn and they lay a little flatter, okay? So I like to face it this way, and I'm going to use my 1/4 inch score tape. I'm going to take the tape and add it to as close to the fold at the top of the hinge, all the way across, and just like this, okay? And then I do one side, and then I flip it over and do the other side, because we need tape on both sides of our hinges. And I'm going to turn it around and do the other side. Again, I'm adding the tape to the top of the hinge where the fold is. Okay, and I want to burnish my tape. It's just easier to do this before you put it in the book. Okay, now we're going to attach this to our book, just like this. We're going to center it left to right and top to bottom. Now you can lay it in here, you can do a pencil mark, you can measure it, but again, I'm kind of, you know, lazy, so I just eyeball it. So we're going to add our adhesive to the back, and I like to use score tape. Surprise, surprise. And I'm going to use my 1/4 inch in between my hinges right here. Then I'll use some of the wider tape for the rest. So I do have quite a bit of score tape on here because this is what's holding the pages in my book, so I don't want to skimp on it. Okay, so we have our score tape here. We're going to add it to the back, so we're going to go ahead and remove the back, and we're going to leave the tape on here. We're not going to remove that until we add our pages, and I like to do that at the end. I like to decorate my pages before I put them in the book. Okay. So again, we're going to center it top to bottom, left to right, and again, the hinge is 6 inches, and therefore the book is 7. So you're going to have 1/2 inch at the top and 1/2 inch at the bottom. And stick it down. Make sure you burnish in between your pages. And then I like to, again, fold my pages back and forth once they're attached to the book, just to get them so the pages will turn really nice. Okay. So now we're going to take our bone folder and find those creases again and very gently fold up our front cover. Flip around and fold the back. Okay, there's basically the base of our book. So now what we're going to do is we're going to decorate our pages, and I'll go ahead and decorate mine and then come back and show you the finished project. But once you get your pages decorated and your design paper for the front and back pages, they're small, so they measure 3 by 6. So you're going to need 12 pieces of design paper, or excuse me, 10 pieces of design paper that measure 3 by 6. And then for your front covers, you can either leave 1/4 inch or 1/8 of an inch, whatever. They're 5 by 7. So I think I made mine 4 3/4 by 7, or by 6 3/4. I had a 1/4 inch border for the front insides here and the back. And then the spine again was 2 1/4, and I made it 2 inches by 6 3/4. Okay, so when you get your pages decorated, go ahead and you're just going to slip these on here like this. And I like to start from the back. Take your backing off, but don't put your page all the way down like this. If you do, your page isn't going to turn. You want to leave it just about 1/8 of an inch, and then press it down. Okay, so there you go. That's the tutorial on how I made the Emoji Love mini album, but I am going to use the Simple Stories Faith collection. For your inserts, the design paper that you're going to need is going to measure 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. You'll need one here, and then I did white here so I could use for journaling, or you could leave it blank if you wanted. And then these panels are all 4 by 6, so I made mine 3 3/4 by 5 3/4, and you'll need 1, 2, 3. You'll need 6 per page, so 6 times 5, that's 30 pieces that are 3 3/4 by 5 3/4, and 10 pieces that are 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. So there you go, everybody. That's the little tutorial on how I made the pages in my Emoji Love and how I made the Emoji Love mini album. There you have it. Thanks for watching. Bye.